Okay. Well, thanks for bearing with us, everyone who's not watching. So, alright, so we left off at New Orleans. We both have New Orleans over Atlanta. We both have Buffalo over Indy. Both have Cincy over Chicago. Both have Green Bay over Cleveland. Both have the Giants in an upset over Dallas. We have Detroit over Tampa. We have Oakland over Kansas City. We have Minnesota over Carolina. We have San Fran over Houston. And we have the Jets over the Broncos and the Titans over the Cardinals. All right. So we're moving on next to Washington at LA Chargers, that is. I got to roll with the Chargers. They are just on a roll. Let me tell you, I said don't count them out. They're going to make the playoffs. I'm looking to be right. They're still out, but they're in a three-way tie right now for that division. Kansas City currently holds the tiebreaker, but probably not for long. Who do you have here, Shane?
I have the Chargers too. I'm starting to see where you were talking about that the Chargers had a chance. I doubted them at the very beginning due to the record when you first stated it. Now they're starting to make a comeback. They're on a 3-game win streak right now. They're on a roll. Their rivals, the Raiders and the Chiefs, are playing this weekend, so depending on who wins that game could give the Chargers a chance to move up in positioning along with the Raiders or Chiefs, but we'll have to see. But I'm going with the Chargers.
All right. As for the Redskins, they're kind of done. It's 5-7 would be okay in the AFC, but in the NFC, they're done.
Yeah, that 10 wins to make it in the AFC this year.
They're done. We move on to another key game of the week. The Philadelphia Eagles at the LA Rams. Philly suffering their first loss since week 2 last week, and hard one for them. But actually this week, I think they bounce back. They get a close win against the Rams. I think this will be a really good game.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm going with the Rams on this one.
Okay.
This is the first time we're seeing the number 1 and 2 quarterback from last year's draft go up against each other head-to-head. Look where we got. We wouldn't expect. After last year, we knew Jared Goff was okay, but he didn't have the talent around him. And Carson Wentz started off great 3-0 last year and then declined in the season after that. But now they're both on the roll. They both got their offenses going. I believe this is going to be Jared Goff's time to prove that there's a reason why I was drafted number 1 over you. And he's going to win a very close game.
All right. I feel like Philly was kind of in their own head last week because they did not play their usual style. They're normally more aggressive, but last week they played really conservative, which was just really odd for Philly. But I guess they were just an intimidation. Maybe they just didn't feel right after coming off that plane. But they're staying in the West Coast, which I think could give them a benefit. And you know what? The Rams Stadium might be filled with Eagles fans. Yep. So,
and I just want to also say shout out to all California right now for the wildfires there.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a very sad thing that they're trying as much as they can do, but they can't do anything to stop this. They're trying their best, but wish all the families out there who lost their homes, everything they had, the best of luck. And I hope you guys have hopefully not a bad week, but hopefully everything gets better for you guys.
Indeed. Alrighty, next we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another key game of the week. I'm not sure if this is an official upset, but I got the Jacksonville Jaguars winning this game.
Again, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going with the Seahawks. The Seahawks have a lot to prove right now with the MVP possible candidate and Russell Wilson. He's been proven this season with the talent he has around him, except for Baldwin and Jimmy Graham and a few other players. He's got basically no offensive talent on that line to help him. He's got no offensive line. He's basically doing it by himself. He's carrying a team. He's putting them on his back to get them into the playoffs. And as of right now, they are. And I believe this win this week is going to get them further up in the playoffs to have a bigger lead on these teams that are in the hunt.
Well, honestly, I think it really comes. I mean, this is going to be a low-scoring defensive battle, and honestly, Jacksonville's defense, I think, is just absolutely brutal.
With Calais Campbell, yep.
But I mean, you know what? I wouldn't rule out a Seattle win, though. I wouldn't rule it out. And Russell Wilson is having an MVP season. I mean, he's really the heart and soul of that team. I think he's like 90% of that offense too.
Yes, he is. He has more runs than anyone else on that team.
Insane to think. Well, I think the leading rusher is Chris Carson, and he hasn't played since week 4. So it's pretty insane stuff. We move on to Seattle. I'm sorry, we just talked about that game. We move on to Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Our final key game of the week, old classic rivalry. I'll give this one to you, Shane.
I believe Pittsburgh is going to win this one. This is going to be an emotional game for the Shazier family, for Shazier himself. The team's going to win this game for him in honor of what happened last week. It's a very, very sad moment for Pittsburgh. Even both teams acknowledge that this is very distraught and saddening to see a player like him go down like that. Good news, though, is he is in Pittsburgh right now. He's getting medical treatment. We don't know the severity of it still. There is a little bit swelling in his back. But
as of now, they're saying he does not need surgery as of this moment. It's not required.
Yeah. But again, we still don't know. The MRIs and the CAT scans didn't say anything, but there could be something even further down that we don't even know about. So we'll have to find out in the next 24 hours, if anything else. He's not going to play this weekend. That's for certain. He's not playing.
Yeah. I mean, it's football secondary at this point.
Yeah, I just believe that Pittsburgh's going to win this game out of emotion, especially what happened last week. Last week was a very bitter rivalry with the Bengals. Everyone knows it's going to be aggressive when they play. Ravens and Steelers, it's a mutual respect. They understand each other. They're not going to go out and try and kill the player. They're obviously going to tackle and try and get big hits on players, but they're not going to go out there just to injure players. It's going to be a very close game, I believe, considering that the Ravens' defense is starting to come back up again. They're starting to come back up, but I don't think their defense is going to be powerful enough to stop Steelers without Juju Smith. But Martavis Bryant, ladies and gentlemen, he's coming back. He's starting to make his resurgence. Watch him for this game to help Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell out.
All right. I unfortunately have to disagree here. I have the Ravens winning, and really it's a case of these teams, it's been a long time since the Steelers sweep the Ravens, and it seems like it's inevitable for these two teams to always split. And the Ravens, they can win in Pittsburgh. They've shown they can win in Pittsburgh. And Joe Flacco usually has his best game of the season in Pittsburgh. That's where he plays his best football.
He had his best week last week.
Yeah, he's stepped up a bit so far at this point in the season. So I think we're going to see the best of Flacco. I think we're going to see the best of that Ravens defense, and I think they're going to steal one in Pittsburgh.
Wouldn't be surprising considering how Pittsburgh's been playing the last 2 weeks.
And if Pittsburgh, and the way Pittsburgh's been playing close games, it's, I don't know. Maybe the emotion will be up all the way, but I don't know. I can't trust taking Pittsburgh. I feel like at some point they're going to give up that game. If it's not this week, it's definitely going to be next week, if not both weeks. But
we'll see, ladies and gentlemen. But it's going to be very close. If the Steelers can get up big at the beginning of the game and maintain it and strike down on this offense of the Ravens, the Steelers will win.
And Steelers will clinch the division with a win here. Actually, I believe if the Bills lose or tie, the Steelers will have a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's what I also looked at. They said if Steelers win, they clinch the North. If the Buffaloes lose, because I did check, it was completely lose.
It's completely lose now?
Yeah, they have to lose completely.
Okay.
Steelers will be automatic in the playoffs.
All right. So we move on next to the final game, which is the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. Give me New England. It's really not fair. They're such a great team, but why do they have to be in the worst division of football? Because they get the crappy Dolphins twice a year, they get the crappy Bills twice a year, and they get the crappy Jets twice a year.
I'm going to have to go also with the Patriots, but look what happened last week. I know it was the Broncos that the Dolphins were playing, but they actually looked pretty good on offense, and their defense looked pretty good as well. I believe this is going to be a lot closer game than people expect. Last week, Buffalo Bills were taking it to Brady in the first half. They were taking it to him. He didn't score a touchdown until the beginning of the third, late second, early
Brady
third
didn't score a touchdown. It was just running backs.
Yep. But I believe it's going to be a lot harder for them this week, considering that Brady hasn't practiced for the last 2 days, but it's Brady. They don't play the Monday night, so they're going to rest him.
And I mean, they're without Gronk, but Brady will make anyone.
Yes, he makes everyone. He knows he's got other talent on this team he's going to give the ball to. But I believe it's going to be a very close game. I'm picking New England, but I won't be surprised if the Miami Dolphins pull a massive upset here and then give everyone else in the AFC a chance to breathe.
I think I did see Chris Hogan's back in the lineup now. He's questionable.
Yep. But I think it's going to be a very, very close game.
All right. Well, I think we got through all the games now. Yeah, for once. We would talk more on here, but we're not going to take the chance. We've lost so much content already that we just want to get this done and over with. So thank you all for bearing with us. This has been quite an experiment. Hopefully next week it won't turn out as bad. Maybe we'll try to live stream again next week. Hopefully my battery just doesn't take a complete crap on me and drop a whole 80%
in a matter of 2 minutes.
In a matter of minutes. So but again,